Welcome, everybody. I'm Esteban, host of the Esteban Hour podcast and of Weekend Review. This is the Weekend Review's 10-minute sound off. Today's topic is about threads. Have you heard? There's a new social media application in town, and it is doing wonderful. Let's bring in our co host, Mr. Jeremy Baker. Hey, Jeremy.
What's up, man? I'm addicted already.
How's the weekend been?
Good. Busy. Trying to stay busy. You got me doing all these shows and stuff, man. Keeping me working.
All righty, all righty. Nothing better than being busy, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, all right. Okay, so this has been a phenomenal weekend when it comes to Meta's new, how can you say, Twitter alternative Threads. It was released, I believe, Wednesday night, sometime around Wednesday night, and by Friday there were over 70 million downloads. 70 million. By Saturday, that went up to over 80 million. I believe it hit 90 million. And at this moment, it has reached 100 million downloads. Basically, it is the fastest downloaded social media application. Um, what does Elon Musk have to say about that? We're going to read a letter that he wrote, a cease and desist letter that he wrote to Meta's founder and CEO Zuckerberg. But first, let's get into exactly what's been going on. Jeremy, you want to play that clip?
Absolutely. Here we go.
When it comes to social media, Twitter is still king, with over 230 million users. Others have tried to take market share, but none of Mastodon, Truth Social, or Blue Sky have made much of a dent, even with Musk's habit of posting polarizing right-wing tweets.
I'll say what I want to say, and if the consequence of that is losing money, so be it.
But now there's a new contender in the ring. Threads, created by Meta founder Zuckerberg. The app was released on Thursday and is growing by millions of new users daily, enough to get Musk's attention. Musk tweeted that competition is fine, cheating is not, and his lawyers have threatened to sue for hiring former Twitter employees who have access to trade secrets.
So, you know, it's not becoming of Mr. Musk to show his enviousness in regards to the greatness that seems to has happened thus far. It could change. It could definitely change. Um, but it's true that people have been looking for a Twitter alternative for quite some time, ever since Musk came on as the CEO and owner of Twitter. So many things that he's been doing to the platform that arguably folks can say he is has been basically trashing Twitter. And a lot of folks already left Twitter and deactivated their pages. So for him to be upset now, to me, is a little bit disingenuous, right? Because even though there may be some Twitter employees that might have gone on to Meta, this was probably in the works long before that. We have other social media applications that haven't done quite as good, but they're trying, like what Tribal Social,
Hmm.
Mastodon. They're still trying to get popular. But there's always been a talk about a Twitter alternative because again, people do not like the nonsense that has been following us all on Twitter for the last year and a half. What say you?
Well, I've been off of Twitter for what, 9 months now, like
I knew you were going
involuntarily.
to bring that up.
I had to. I got banned like right after Elon Musk took over. He banned me and then brought all these people back, these accounts that should have stayed banned, and he called it free speech. But I mean, he did this to himself. Let's be honest. It wasn't just that he. I mean, most people when they buy a new company, one of the things they try and do is maximize efficiency, I guess you could call it. But what he
Right?
did was He came in and fired people via emails. He fired people that were on like paternity leave and maternity leave. He fired people that were on vacation. You know what I'm saying? What did you expect?
And
And it's
my
not like
opinion,
Twitter.
right? My
Like
opinion on
Twitter's
that
just
is
amazing.
number one. How can you expect efficiency, or how did he expect efficiency while he's firing everybody? I mean, there was quite pretty much no one at the controls. Twitter has gone down, you know, many times. There's been so many discrepancies and errors and mistakes. You can't host a space. Even his own spaces have been problematic. Look what happened with the quote unquote beginning
DeSantis,
presentation of DeSantis's
yeah.
campaign.
That
Okay,
was a
that was a
nightmare. And that was a nightmare. Do you want me here? Actually, you're gonna go. I'll do since you're talking about that topic, I'll pull that article up by the Washington Post. Where it goes, it just shows that since Elon Musk has taken over, the anti-Semitic tweets have soared after Musk took over. And a report was done by the Institute for Strategic Dialogue in a startup company called CASM Technology, who specifically researches disinformation and hate speech online. And they found that after Musk took over, that it over doubled the amount of hate speech and everything that was allowed on the platform. So that I
absolutely
mean, and a lot of people aren't okay with that. I don't know why these people think that this
right.
right wing pro white agenda is going to fly with most of the country, and it's just not. And I think that's what you get. He did what I call FAFO. I'm pretty sure everybody can. I'm not allowed to say the first word on the show, so he effed around and found out. Okay, it's my new favorite term called FAFO.
I think his pompous attitude in regards to Twitter being the biggest, social media app. It still stands at having the most users, 230 million. I think he took for granted that people were going to put up with that regardless because they need it or because they use it for their business purposes. But he failed to realize that there's always an alternative, whether it's today, tomorrow, next year, 10 years from now. There's always going to come out with a new creation as to uh, defeat or counteract something else, especially as people don't like it. And there have been millions of people all around the world who has not liked what Mr. Musk has been doing with Twitter and how he has been leading Twitter basically arguably set into the ground. As we mentioned with all of these fired employees, he is how do you say, he is concerned that the Twitter secrets have been passed along. I my opinion, it's crap, as if Meta doesn't know anything or can't create an app that could possibly be a Twitter application. But not only that, I thought to myself when I saw this, what does he expect those employees to do? I mean, he came in and just fired them all. So does he expect
Mhm.
them to remain jobless, homeless?
Right,
And then
and
if they,
it's not like
that's what happens, maybe they have to get on unemployment or welfare, and the far right will complain about that too. So, why are you upset? You let these people go. They found other jobs, and now you have a problem with that.
yeah, exactly. And I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what you're expecting, but this is what happens when you do what you did. You can't treat people like this. These are the consequences. I mean, you're not going to treat people like dirt. I mean, that's how I'm sure Elon Musk doesn't live on the same plane of existence. And what he's done to Twitter, he disrupted a lot of people's. I mean, a lot of people rely on Twitter for information, good information. And I thought it was a great
Yeah.
way to learn about politics and other
Yeah.
topics when I was first getting into social media. But let's be real. Facebook was one of the first social media platforms to ever exist. And Twitter is not exactly innovative. It hasn't really changed over the years very much. I mean, for as far as the social media platform goes, it's quite basic. You know what I mean? I mean, and yeah, there was some cool features like the lives and then the spaces. I used to like the spaces. It's actually how I ended up getting in touch with you. So I had a lot of good things came out of Twitter, and I was upset when I lost my account because I put a lot of work into it. And I lost my account I didn't even break any of the rules. I even read the rules. I'm like, I can't possibly have broken a rule, and I didn't.
Well,
but that's the problem is like when he came in, the rules weren't the rules anymore. He just made it up as he went. He was making policy on the fly, setting insane deadlines with a skeleton staff. People were sleeping there. They had bedrooms.
And as he said in that video, he can say whatever he wants. It does, even if it means losing money. First of all, who says that? I guess only a rich billionaire, many times over, would say that. And then, second of all, this is the consequences of that. So yes, you can say whatever you want because it's your platform now. You own it. But people do not have to stay there. They do not have to patronize your platform. And that's because of you saying whatever you want without respect for certain people or certain groups.
Absolutely right. This is what you get. This is exactly what you get. I don't feel sorry for the guy at all, but I'll admit I find it amusing watching a billionaire squirm like a kid who lost his favorite toy. Like he is just come on, man. But this is what you get, and he doesn't have the staff I don't think he has the staff to recover from all the stuff he did.
I think he's going to make some changes now. I really do. He's going to have to keep up with the competition, right? He's going to have to. I mean,
it's not only going to hurt. We talked about this before. Threads isn't going to only hurt Twitter. The other startups that have been going around, it's going to hurt them as well. Right. Like Tribal, you know what I mean? It's probably going to take people away from Tribal because Zuckerberg just has the funds to dump into this thing, and Tribal is more of an independent thing. Right. I tried that Mastodon shit. That was absolutely horrible. And I tried to. I mean, I was like a social media refugee for a while there. After I got booted off of Twitter and TikTok, I was like, man, I tried all these fringe ones. Oh my God, they're bad. So to have one that finally works, people have been waiting for this. But I'll show you, like on Truth Social, I'll tell you what they were concerned about. Let me see if I can show you, because it's going to hurt them. So actually, it's probably going to make them. All right, this is what's going to happen. Truth Social is going to fold because they're not going to merge. The merger with Digital World Acquisitions is probably, I don't think they're under investigation for whatever. So that's not going to go through. So what's going to happen is all the idiots and hateful people from Lie Social, I don't even like calling it by its real name, are going to migrate over to Twitter, which is going to give them more users, but it's going to make Twitter so much worse. And Zuckerberg, I think, made a genius move by blocking and banning accounts that are starting to do the misinformation and hate speech nonsense, because they immediately got flagged. And so they're going to migrate back over to Twitter. So you're going to have.
Did you see that they put up a sample? If you attempt to go and follow Donald Trump Jr., a pop-up message comes up saying, "Do you really want to follow this person when this person dishes out nothing but disinformation and misinformation?" I mean, that's a good thing. But I will say,
it's funny that you mentioned him.
I hope that Meta does not take it to the extreme on the other side. In other words, yes, it's good to patrol misinformation, lies, and conspiracies, but don't go all the way to the left now and patrolling everything. So as soon as somebody opens their mouth, you find it wrong, you're ready to take them down, because I can see that happening as well.
I can see, you're right. I can see the balance there. And it's funny you brought up Don Jr. because what was happening you probably wonder what was happening on Truth Social while all of this was going on. Well, let me show you
what's happening.
This is what they were concerned about.
Interesting.
On Truth, this is a screenshot off of my Truth. Don't hate me. I only have a Truth Social account to
So on
troll Don Jr. and Donald.
so on live social in the last couple of days, this has been the trending topics: cocaine, White House cocaine, cocaine gate, cocaine
and then
gate,
Hunter Biden.
and Hunter Biden. Listen.
It's so funny, man.
Again, my point to why Zuckerberg has come out with a Twitter alternative called Threads, so as not to have to deal with all of that. Now, I will say, Meta decided to build a functioning media application that underscores respectful diversity, right? And truth, real truth by facts and, you know, realness. So why would he be wrong for what he did other than enviousness and jealousy? That's what I say.
I think so too. I think he's just mad at himself. I think he's kicking himself in the ass. I spent $44 billion. I destroyed it. I have no idea how to fix it now. And then somebody else comes along and brings something similar out. It's not the same. It doesn't have spaces. It doesn't have lives. It's not the same thing. I mean, right now Threads is pretty basic, but it's functional. It's smooth. And yeah, for me, I feel like I'm back in the loop now because
right.
I can be myself and not get banned for being myself and speaking out against like social injustice and stuff. Because that's pretty much why I got banned from these platforms, was speaking out against ignorance. And then these people would report me and then get me banned. So, and maybe I'm a little too hard to paint because some ignorance just drives me nuts. But
you know, I totally understand with the ignorance. There's a lot of ignorance out there. But we have to understand, even though we're trying to make a point, we have to be careful of how we speak as well. We cannot do the same that the right does, but just in a different manner, just because we feel like we have a point, and we're calling out truth to lies. We still need to be respectful, even to the harshest person on the right. We still should be respectful.
You know, I've been saying it since you and me started doing these shows, is that at some point social media has to step up and take responsibility. I mean, to me, there's a difference between free speech and hate speech. To me, there's a definitive difference. I mean, according to the law, there's hate speech is covered under the First Amendment, unfortunately. But Meta is not America. Meta is a corporation, so they don't have to allow it if they don't want to. And you can bitch and moan about your free speech all you want. Go to Twitter. If you want to be hateful and ignorant, go somewhere else. We don't need you.
Unfortunately, right? Unfortunately,
we don't want you. I mean, we're tired of it.
I want to bring out another point. Elon Musk had sent out a message or a tweet or whatever, basically saying that competition is fine, cheating is not. And so when I read that, I said to myself, but what's his definition of cheating? You know, which is what's normal to those on the right. Cheating to me, what their definition is of cheating is whatever they call it to be. So if you drink a cup of water and you leave a dot of water in that glass, you didn't drink your whole cup of water, and they will consider that cheating. That's to me their definition of cheating, which is like crazy and ridiculous. You drunk all the water. That's it.
This will be the last thing I think I'll say about it, but I think this is a good gauge of how bad things are on Twitter, because not only did people go to Threads, they ran by the hundred or by the tens of millions. They ran to Threads. So I think it's a pretty good gauge that if Elon doesn't do something drastic to fix
it
his
speaks
sinking
volumes.
ship, the Twitter's
it speaks volumes. It doesn't matter at this point whether Threads is going to be better than Twitter or not. What matters at this point is the rapidness that people ran to Threads, even without maybe knowing what it's about. That speaks volumes. Basically, sending a message to Musk that there are millions of people all around the world who don't like what you're doing with Twitter. And if you don't change it, and it might be too late, might be too late, but if you don't change it, these are the consequences, and this is what can happen. And this is what's deemed as a free free market in the United States, where anybody can come up with any idea and sell it.
Capitalism. That's
Yeah,
competition.
yeah.
I mean,
Really
you
quick.
can't have a monopoly. You can't have a monopoly on the product or on an idea. Once you know what I mean.
Right,
If somebody comes out with a better version of your old idea, it's still a new version. It's a new idea. You know what I mean? That's what happens. Improvements
right,
are made, leaps forward are made. But he took Twitter backwards. He said
right,
he took it back.
right. Really quick, I wanted to show that letter that he did
Oh, that's right. I forgot all about that.
pose out really quick. This one here. This is a letter that Musk had wrote to Meta and Zuckerberg in regards to what is going on. Um, it, as I paraphrase it, I write on behalf of the S Corp, successor of Twitter, basically saying that Meta Platforms has engaged in systematic, willful, and unlawful misappropriate misappropriation, of Twitter's trade secrets and other intellectual property. He brings out how over the past year, Meta has hired dozens of former employees, and that Twitter knows that those employees that previously worked with them, that they continue to have access with Twitter's trade secrets and other confidential information, and so they are demanding in legal terms to cease and desist this application. Uh,
Prove it. Prove it. That's what I would if I was Zuckerberg. Be like, all right, that would be my tweet. Prove
prove it. Prove
it.
it. All right.
As
Well,
long as nobody stole anything intellectual, there's nothing. I mean,
right.
it's not the same platform.
Well, there you have it, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, I should say, a little background on what has been going on this past weekend, and probably the upcoming fight between Twitter and Threads. But I downloaded Threads, and I have an account with them, and I'm sure many more do as well. So, with that said, if you have any questions or comments in regards to today's sound off, please drop a message at the handle at the Esteban Hour on any of the major social media platforms. Okay, we will see you later.